mi sanje chedan soje chwana la chanju bado dani jesu dagu chijin ye zona ye andra la benje sanje lu yo sanje chedan soje chwana la chanju bado dani jesu dagu chijin ye zona ye andra la benje sanje lu sanje chedan soje chwana la chanju bado 사당 라면 매담면 지용 보단 제진에서 줄이줄라 저거 저번에 산제 숨바를 대신에 제가 전에도 배치니 대한 제지인데 이제 사회 되지고 전제 저거들 저도 대진 거가 이디에라 백년제 senza ne 받는 메시지 내면에 집에 치면 나가면서 집에서 나중에 좀 나지 관심 생기는 게 님만 봐야 대대한다 삼바지 나무라에 가다는 당만 좀 만나면 탐제게도 다그 제단도 어야 가소래 모두 레스칸 레기가라 안에데 용전나 바나 신이체니 가소래 신등기 tumorji yunan nangwata ani kiwu tambalani tembata dani lebarang moya sonamji kolo chimboji ni shina nga seni ani ta karisore yawo deje sambola anu gombo lidu shi shando nawa na shinyi cheni ta ngaranzo kasan shiwegi ani iji namshi ki tingdu 사메 셈지 사변에서 일당 아니 가서 대양 안에 심랑 신진 남바 타바 임배 다 된저위 릭세지기 루칸데레서나 다 릭세지기 주대라다 디스고아리 tum버주는 내마 세야데 다 친진그 소화 예라 와당 어딘데기 도대 된게 가서 소원에 사상화당 조상대 난조디 어쨌든 세원한 신기 아니 tum버주는 내와 최타사기 유는 내와 아니 기우 참발라 땜바 아니 라니기 뭐사비 말람 레바 추바 라니 레바 뭐야 시 라니지야 아니 칠라 되게 개바당 아니 뭔지 말람 레바 추바 제가 디나는 요 등그리 이 대기 텐더위 릭사시기 찐테다 세니 세비 찐테라 때네다 릭사바디 연구한 바리
So with regards to the explanation of the points of the essence, the cause and function, then we take a quotation from Nagarjuna's letter to a king, referring to the factors that help to bring forth the ripening of the Buddha lineage in us, the lineage in us. So the factors that help enable that being the conditions where we dwell in places that are conducive to us, like in a place that is conducive, surrounding of not only the place but having friends that are sort of harmonious with oneself, harmonious with one's thinking, and as well as relying upon our spiritual teachers, and then being engaged in prayers and our sort of interest in the Dharma. So these, in Nagarjuna's letter to a king, these are like the four factors that help to bring forth the ripening of the the manifestation of this predisposition within our mind, this Buddha lineage, the uncontaminated seed for the uncontaminated mind.
Oh yeah, that day that kasang tanda 안저 심점저데 가와레에서나 제위 가도케 아니 데니랑신 타지다 파자파지 장와이 다단 담에 저와다 녀와시베 담비다 이지랑신 풍보다 대주랑치 대와니 세제다야기 명부 파자단 제와 방위지 장이 파도 침바레세 다단 다음에 비트와니 오래 시와 인장 나게 파도 침바레세 이지랑 신품보다 대주라시 아니 대와니
걘 통수 나눠 마시는 심토면도
어제 대주나죠.
So purification of the karma and delusions is the perfection of the is the perfection of the purity. Leda nyomong ba de leda nyomong thaso. Leda nyomong. Zangwe paru de chures.
Pacha panchi zangwa yin.
Pacha.
Pacha.
So the predispositions, or what you call the imprints of karma and delusions, the elimination of these is what is known as the perfection of purity.
And the
pacification of the elaborations of the self, the self and no self. The elaborations of these is what is known as the perfection. Is the perfection of the self. When we eliminate the elaborations that arise out of the self.
이제랑신지 풍보당 이제랑신지 륜련바 체비주 다 말이 바자게 사다 사메게 타바 인상 대왕이.
So and then with regards to the mental bodies that are attained in the last three bhumis. At the last three levels, in the case of the hearers and solitary realizers. So these aggregates, these aggregates, and the causes for these aggregates, which are the unafflicted kind of karmic. Unafflicted kind of karmic seeds that give rise to uncontaminated karmas that give rise to this kind of mental bodies are the abandonment of this is the perfection of the bliss. And so when one perceives the equality of samsara and nirvana with respect to it both being equal in being empty of nature is the perfection of permanence. So then for the people following the Tibetan text, Rinpoche says is 120 on the commentary. 190, 120.
Jadang Gupju.
190.
다 간사숨지 최우톱이 그 제자 잡아서 간사숨 내랑 다 좀 많이 이체 아니 다살 내가 간사 와 예랑 좀 받다가 가사 내에 가사 되기 뉴 바사변다 제와 방와 인상连좀 그 교환해 보면 말이. 자, 다连좀 그 교환해 봐 인상 과제와 과제와 시대 잠바 가리방 그 교환에 해서나 삼신도 교환 시교환에 삼신도 교환 시와라 유주고 거래 유 가르에 해서나 아니 말이 바자지 사당 삼매길래 당 알아서 이리와 타마와 련이 끼지 가라 말이봐 그놈 말이봐 뒤왕기 아니 사빌래 텔라 때네 아니 뭐 인점자지 깨와 텔라 때네 아니 시바 가와 시바 주바 때나시 전이 아니 가사순보디 깨와내디 가나야 기위 루 겐레 지주당 레 아니 중화 시바 어좀 두시하고 하래 내 마신이 세고 하래 대대
So talking about the four types of obstructions that are experienced by the three types of beings. The three types of beings being Shravakas, Pratyakas, and beings who have attained the pure grounds. So, in the case of them, then you can they are free of the karma and delusions, free of the karma and delusions. But so therefore they do not have rebirth that are brought on by karma and delusions. So, how do they take birth? Is through intentionally taking birth. Through intentionally taking birth. And what are the causes for that kind of intentional birth? Is the uncontaminated karma and what is known as the maripachak uncontaminated karma and the grounds of the Maripacha, the kind of the imprints of the ignorance, the grounds of the on the basis of the grounds of the imprints of ignorance or the predispositions of ignorance. These are the causes that bring forth their birth in the case of these three types of beings, and that birth is an intentional birth, just like in the case of an ordinary sentient being. Then you first motivated by ignorance, you accumulate the karma, and as a result of that karma, then you are born, and after being born, then you go through aging and death. In the same manner, then with regards to these three types of beings, then you have the causes and conditions of the uncontaminated karma and the uncontaminated karma and the imprints of the ignorance, the grounds of the imprints of the ignorance, and then out of that arising, there is the action, and then the arising of that birth, and the eventual destruction of that state, just like in accordance with how it is for our ordinary birth. From ignorance, karma, birth, and then death.
Oh yeah, that is that 추구토비 크기 예와다 크기 라신 셰바 가사 숨지 저부터발 크기비 수숨 잡이나네. 다 담보 크기 예와들 간저와레에서나 가사 숨보 택시.
So here going back to what Rumchi is clarifying the part that from yesterday, explaining what are the sort of hindrances or obstacles for these three types of beings to attain Dharmakaya, and then explaining what are the types of the hindrances, and and how these obstructions then prevent the attainment of the Dharmakaya. And so the first point is explaining the types of the hindrances.
That may be in teaching Muslim to top keys. That on Saba may be in Chin Muslim to top teaching is in a Chin Lachana. And teaching Muslim to top key. And Koya Dunganya or Shiva, Sajan Yelenji Pumbo, or Sajan Yelengu Pumbo. Yelenji Wanga Chumi, and yes, Sajan Yelenji Pumbi Dungan, never Shivi, Nishila Neva. Yeran Dajo Batang Ransanja Dajo Banamda, Nindu Sabar Pangsi, Wangchu Tobi, Tasala Nevi said, Nindu Pangba Yizang, Tapsal Neva Sigari.
So,
or Tasala Nevi, Chanju Samba Namlas.
So, those bodhisattvas. And those Shravakas or the Pratikas who who have attained the realization of the Dharma Dhatu, and thereby have pacified, who have that concentration of the uncontaminated sphere. Who have realized that kind of Dharma Dhatu have pacified the contaminated appropriate aggregates and the sufferings of samsara, and therefore are said to abide in pure grounds. Tasalne.
Insan Kansa Sumbo Tegi, Da Tishibi, a Churchuku Yandanji. And Paro Chimba number Dishi Tobala, kicked the Kariwari, and that and that Shiwari.
So, for these three types of individuals, for them to attain the qualities of the Tathagata's Dharmakaya, then what are the obstacles? And so, the obstacles that they experience are of four types.
That day in that you have sure not see each any. Come on, what Jawa Limbi Sena. Then the Yala Junior Orwa. Then the Yala Junior Gana Tama Jawa Limbi Sena. Queen and your mon chojin dua. Queen and your mon chojin dubi. Cylinder Dujigile Sebata Lemba. Dar Lembatan Genji Teni. On it, I usually and the Lulianga Terrain.
So, as in the context of in the ordinary birth, as explained in the sequence of the 12 links, then you have first the ignorance, and kind of brought due to the force of this ignorance. Then you have the accumulation of karma that brings that kind of rebirth. So then for these three types of beings, then you have the giving rise to the mental body, which are brought on by its own respective circumstances.
Ani Castle, Les Dasaki, Ani Lay Waindan, Lajikova Inzang, Led the Jewish Senitang, Led and Jewish Seni.
So, in the case of the 12 links, then this karma brought on by ignorance, this karma is brought into sort of fruition through craving and grasping. And similarly, then this karma is like the equivalent to the the cause. Is equivalent is the cause.
What did it? Silengi led la Sutavala Tene. Ani led the Namiji Diabu, Minda Sutar, Minsuchuma Nasi. Ani Jewish. So
with with the craving and grasping ripening the particular karma, then it brings forth the arising of the name and form. And so the name and form is like the arising.
아니 님 전에 아니 그지 니와네 나서 현도 추와기 가위던 데다 타를 아니 시와기 타를 시와데 집이 천이 시간아 다 들어야 유당 견당 중화당 집이 천이 전에 다시 대당 최tum바 다 마셔 거래 그치 와
유당
안 엄마를 쏜다
So, from the moment of the birth, from the second moment onwards of the birth, then it's a process of aging up to death. So just like how it is this kind of sequence in the case of ordinary birth, then likewise, then you have the condition, the cause, and the arising and the destruction.
다 단들이 여기 이와들라 시와디에
So these are the four types of hindrances or obstructions.
다 이와 시와디기 가랑시체도 담바 간들에서나 담보 젠지체니니 코와 토마 매반에 녀몽비 릉장아지 두마를 제비 코가 예배나 녀몽 nga마 치마 지랑 되라 녀몽기 파자서 마리비 파자스나 바지베는 파자스나 마리비 파자되라 마리방암에 치마 제신 마리바 치마 제식 인간지라 대 마리비 파자당 마리비 사베니체 니가 이바체 마리방암에 제신 샤라 되라 치마 제식이 니와메나 마리비 파자 지버리 사베 마리
Now to explain each one of these obstacles, that which gives rise to the arising. The arising here we're talking about the continuity of the afflictions, the past afflictions that give rise to the present that gives rise to the future. When we talk about the imprints of the ignorance and the seeds of the ignorance, in the case of the having both of the imprints and the seeds of the ignorance, then you have prior ignorance giving rise to the present, and the present giving rise to the future. In the case of just the imprints of the ignorance without the seed of the ignorance, then it is explained as the past seed, the past imprint and the seed of ignorance, wherein which you have cut off the seed of the imprints, then is a case where it no longer gives rise to future ignorance. When you have both the seed and the imprint, then it is a continuity from the past to the present to the future. When you cut out the seed of the ignorance, but only just the imprints, then it has no future arising.
시주 인간이 니몬자 마인비 마리바 른다 파마체도 중 니몬자 마인비 마리바 파마체도 중이 중화테니 마리 파자지 사디 데라디고아레 차지고아레 마리 파자지 사디
나마타 치마케야기
사마르다 랑고 시주 기티비 니몬 시주 기티비 니몬자 마리바
So its nature is that it is sort of subsumed. Its nature is subsumed within kind of knowledge obstacle. It's the nature of this is that it is so it's like a non-afflicted ignorance. Non-afflicted ignorance because it's categorized as being subsumed within, categorized within a knowledge obstacle, obscuration to omniscience. So when we talk about it being the grounds of the imprints of ignorance, the grounds of the imprints of that ignorance, then the term ground is something that which comes from the past to the present and continues into the future. The ground has that kind of connotation. So this follows the example of the 12 links, with the first link of ignorance, then accumulating the meritorious or the non-meritorious karmic formations. So meritorious karmas are those karmas that bring forth higher rebirth in the desire realm. And non-meritorious karma then effect rebirth in the lower realms of the desire realm. And the karmas that effect rebirth in the form and the formless realms are regarded as invariable karmas.
이와 도저히 레단 자와기 안에 삼백이 레듯이 안에 사와 샤고버 간자데 말이 레소베 그노데 다 말이 바자기 사데 덴디야라 주인 주나전주 말이 바다 지바레 예스고.
So just like in the 12 links, with ignorance as the motivating factor, then we accumulate the karma. Here, the imprints. The imprints of the grounds of the imprints of the ignorance, the predispositions of the ignorance, is what is the motivating factor for accumulating the uncontaminated karma, for that birth. So this is the characteristics of the circumstances.
아니 개위 타바사숨나네비 가소래 대다단 가사숨보디 개와 렌치기 니몬 개샤요 니몬 개버데 만체 니몬라 개와 개위래라 니몬 기민 따와이 데인다 된다 디앙 니몬 기민 따와마도 니몬 말이 와 진진 니몬미 사바메비래 유지랑신지 류지 니린구 가사숨보디 이지랑신지 류린지기 니린지 두 셈벤두와 세나 셈바세나 레 셈바레와 와
망쳐도 이제 망부소나 개 망쳐도
나 건지라서
so the circumstances what brings forth the effect of a result. Even though it's called circumstance, it's like a cause in also bring forth affecting a cause, affecting a result, and then the cause here, the karmic cause here, is an uncontaminated karma that is the cause for that mental body. So non-afflicted is a non-afflicted karma. It's like just in the case of the three types of beings that are born in the pure grounds. In the pure grounds, although the particular karmas are given the name of an affliction, that are kind of the 8 types of afflictions, but they are all virtuous types of karmas that effect that rebirth in the pure ground. So the second obstacle, which is the cause. So what are the characteristics of this cause? Is that this cause is a result of the grounds of the imprints of ignorance. The imprints of ignorance is what brings forth the result of this cause.
It
is an uncontaminated karma. So this result or this cause is an uncontaminated karma. And is a non-afflicted karma. So the cause for this mental body is the substantial cause for this mental body is the motivation, is the intention, and you can say the cooperative cause is this uncontaminated karma.
Number suit said the condition cigarettes and Paro Poki Gunong Richik suit that and a Paro Poki Gunong Cheba Anekaso, the Cheba Gashi Potuan Gunong Chebak suit that then Maranzu me any don't get Namula then a Kansati similar
Karasamba.
To point a boy, number 6 to say, number 6 to say.
So, depending upon the. So the independence upon the motivation or the intention, then that is the karma which defines the particular physical and verbal characteristics of the three types of persons.
Oh, then you were to say that turned out to Kasa Sumbo de Anya Kaso de Hijirashi Lu Lenjiki Drutela Ani Mari Pachak Satan Ti Guna Lavi Ani Sameki Le Teni Shatuari.
So for these three types of persons to take on a mental body, then for its cause, it depends upon the causes of the imprints of the ignorance, the grounds of the imprints of the ignorance, and the uncontaminated karmic seed.
다양 대체봐 요아래. 그러나 니몬제 많이 비 말이 받잖아. 시주래.
In the case of a non-afflicted ignorance, then you would have to say that it is an obscuration to omniscience, knowledge obstacle.
어디 니몬제 많이 비 말이 받이 시주래데 니몬제인지 말이 받이 말이 봐 말해.
So such nyumonchengi maribadi.
말이 봐 말해.
Nyumonchengi mariba.
니몬제 많이 비 말이 받이 말이 봐 말해.
A non-afflicted ignorance is not ignorance. It is an obstacle to omniscience only. So there is a non-afflicted ignorance, but it is not ignorance.
가야가 쿠르신 경제 땅에 걸어 꾸지 되게 가라 님은 재미 말이 여바다 시월의 집이 시지 매단가 세디 가와 직세 님은 재미 말이 여바다 시월의 집이 시지 매단가 그래서
nyumonche mayimbe
말이 봐 예식도 아스 양월라마 정가와죠 다산로서 시월의 집이 시지 매식도 아스 니몬제 마임비 말이 보이나
so Tatsang Lotsawa, then debates Lama Tsongkhapa's assertion that there is a contradiction in your saying that there is an ignorance which is for you to say that there is a non-afflicted ignorance, that which is not ignorance, and to say that nibat khaswa shedi mayimbe sheba yus.
Nimon jemi mari yoba tang shewar chibi shedi medangar shewar chibi shedi mesik duas.
To say that there is no knowledge obstacle which is a consciousness is a contradiction.
Oh. So
in fact, there is no contradiction to this.
If
you accept that a non-afflicted ignorance, if you accept that a non-afflicted ignorance is an ignorance, then you end up with a contradiction. Swatantrika, Madhyamika, downwards, all accept that non-afflicted ignorance is ignorance. So therefore you when we talk about a non-afflicted ignorance which is not ignorance, this is what is accepted. So this such a non-afflicted ignorance is a non-associated constitutive factor, and you have to say that it is not a consciousness.
사매기 내지기 년령기 교체니 유전 강하라 토바메 봐 조진 대우디 토바메 봐 조진 유전 토바메 봐 조진.
So due to these causes and conditions, causes and conditions of the grounds of the imprints of ignorance acting as the cooperative condition, and and the uncontaminated karma. Some is uncontaminated karma acting as the the substantial cause. Then this is what brings forth the arising.
That's a Kasa Sumbo, Toba Mawa Namji, Tendravi, Anekararosa, Yuji Ranshinji, Li Lenzu Teza, Anumusuji to Manchuba.
So for those individuals whose realizations are lesser than these three types of persons, then they cannot directly perceive the mode of taking on or giving rise to the mental body.
Oh, Ijiranshinji, Lutubana Kasa, Ijiranshingi, Lu Nerandajumdang. Ani tabasasu kasagili nambasumbo de truba des. Tate tubdagi betela. Maranzo tamagwa. Jewa lendi zamba. Ani kandere sena. Leji pasha. Masam tindu shaba. Namshi tindu shaba te. Ani sele niji. Se tabi. Sele niji se tabi gana. Sele niji se tabagi. Seba de. Seba de la Canderesana the Desera Seba only Pumbola Mindra was a Mawan Pumbola Mindra, Tataka Pumbola Mindra was Seba down, Mawan Pumbola Dimbi, Sebani, Mawan Pumbo Tunding Yavachi, Seba Asana, the Essigari.
So
Seba said,
So this mental body is what is actualized by the Shravakas, Pratyakas, and the Bodhisattvas of the three pure grounds.
아니 세바디 풍본 도와라 세바당 다다가 마음비 풍보라 민자와 세바체 렘바디 랑기 마음비 풍보라 dimbi 세바지당 다다지 풍보라 세바니요 봐
세바되게 다들
세바되게 지 세바체 지를 풍보다 랑기 풍보 마음 풍보라 dimbi 세바당 다다가 풍보라 세바 많이 바체 지당 봐 지당 안에 가서 풍부도와를 세바당 마음보다 세바랑샤.
So in the case of our ordinary rebirth, you have the first the karma that is accumulated, and the imprints of this karma is borne by the male eye, carried on, born by the consciousness, and this karma is brought to fruition by craving and grasping, and so the general craving and grasping is not wishing to be separated from this present body. Not wishing to be siva dile tada yube pumbu dile tedu mebade
minjawa sepa
and lemba de maombala de
lemba de
maomba
igala jayo ale pumbu chila mebada mao sosi pumbu lemba taune yusong de lemba de tawanya ba lemba de jansho ra lemba de doba nyeba lemba sepa la de bi de jala sepa ra 아니 따와니와 sempa segala
tanda silva da lemba and the grasping is you can say
두세 요 남들 나라 소자 대도 첩대다 돈대 주바 대단히 지단 시바 연바대 시간라 다다의 풍본 도와 대바다 마음의 풍본 연바되어야 되라 세바스는 두슬람들
You can also say that craving is craving is a mindset wanting to to rid of this body, of this present body, this present aggregate, and wishing for the future aggregate. Tata de Torah.
소자 대도 톰대당 돈대 주바 대반이 대와 토바 대와다 농아당 농안도를 대바 켜봐.
So the craving is, wishing to abandon the suffering and wanting to attain the happiness.
남대 나서 나시.
As stated in Pramanavartika.
다 렘바라 지단 렘바데라 데라 손데가라 대바 녀바 렘바 스나 대베기 대베니 몬테데라 아시고아레 대베 대샤진자라.
The general explanation of what grasping is the wanting to actualize the objects of one's desire or attachment. That is the general explanation of grasping.
아니 따와레마 녀바 세게 녀모스데 그 따와레마 녀바 세데 따와랑 마요바레 지다 타다 로다 따와 존재 수준의 도시 존재 전에도 마유비 나네 수준의 도시 존재 마도백이 녀모샤바데다 따와녀바.
So, and then you have grasping of the grasping of the view that gives rise to our afflicted states of mind, and you have 5 types of these types of view. You have jikta, the view of the transitory collection, wrong view, the extreme forms of view, and perverse conduct and perverse ethics, viewpoints of perverse conduct, morality and perverse dulshuta and sujam. So of the first 3, minus the view of the holding perverse forms of conduct as superior and customs or ways that are perverse as superior. With the exception of these 2, then the first 3, the view of the transitory collection, the wrong view, and the extreme forms of view are like the grasping of the view.
따와가두가 직다 타르다 따와 총징 수준의 도시 총징 로다스가두가 로당아 따와가기 나니 아니 따와 단다 가서는 직다당 수준 도시 총징 파 비대
직다다
수준 도시 총징
도시다 수준
네 따와니와 렘바서 숨보테와 직다다 다지는 수준 도시 총징이와 고난 타피들 로가 통과래 수준 도시 총징이와 렘바 다도 따와니와 렘바서 직다 도시는
that you have this nearly jigdata suchimda dushu suji
따왕아 여러분 대반예와라 친송아 따와니와 렘바 대라 따왕아 기나네 직다다 수주 도시의 수준 총징이 마인바기 로다 타다 따와 총징 this 따와니와 렘바.
I made a mistake. You minus the view of the transitory collection and the and minus the view of holding perverse morality and custom as superior. Minus these 2, the other 3, the wrong view and the Loktata and the extreme views and holding perverse views as superior. These are known as grasping at the view.
다도 수름도 있어도 바냐와 렘바다 다도 마와 냐와 렘바 세데 직달라체 와 렘바시 겐단데 다디 카레레서나 쇠데베기 냐와 렘바 세르카나 렘바 세디 오 되게 대답이 쇠다래 그러나 냐와 렘바시 겐단 렘바 사바다 제비 남지 아니 그 규제 대부를 거나 남기 아니 대부 대바다 수다 수메 베세 뒤비 다스 레데라 니와 두지 레데라 아니 세바다 렘바기 쇠땀니
예 망타스 나 라스
아니
망타스 갱 수야 돼서 투스토스 나나만
데려와 따와들라 가서 예완년 받들라 시체송한 예완년 받 시춘소한다 더반 예완년 받 따와 예완년 받 아니 주름도시 저준 예완 나도 따와 예완년 받 제가나 아니 렘바 그 계시단 담바체
So, there are four appropriating factors, in the appropriation of our desire, the appropriation of our view, the appropriation of our form of ethics, the appropriation of the view of the self. So, you have these four appropriating factors. Yawalamba.
다들이 사바단 제비 남지 규제 시리가나 아니 사바단 렘바네 그 쇠답사기 사바단 제비 레지 대부 규제선은 대부들의 시고아리 와 쇠답사기 레데 쇠답니 아니 대바단 수미 비세 뒤비 다 감가루 제기 이나야 감숨도 강도 제주기 레데라 쇠답니 대례디 니바 투젠도 교디 지식 주바랑 온도 초위 깝지라 시비단데스 거래.
So this craving and grasping then is what brings to fruition the contaminated karma and bringing forth its result in the respective realms of existence, the desire realm, form and formless realm. So, when this craving and grasping brings the particular contaminated karmic seed to full maturation, then that is existence.
Oh, that tendency is maribi pajaji ani. 그거 말이 비 바자지 왕기 사매기 레사니 아니 레테라 쇠톱지기 아니 개와라 때네 아니 쇠톱지기 아니 두지기 레테라 때네 아니 가소리 지부제 레다니 뭔가 왕기 개와 말 이지랑신 그 리리네기 무지 니바 토메기 내가 되라 아니 대테시가래 대테나시를 무지 주바나시를 스텔라 때는 아니 좀 무지 니바 토젠데 좀네 될라 때는 아니 리지랑신디 리 주구아래 중구아래 중화리 되어라 정도 중화.
So similar to this, in the case of the travelers, then the grounds of the imprints of ignorance and the uncontaminated karmic seed is brought into complete maturation by the power of virtue, by the force of the action of virtue, and makes it makes it completely. Completes the potential for it to give rise to the mental body. So that is the arising. That is the arising where the force of the virtue, the action of the virtue, then bringing to full maturation the uncontaminated seed. And together with the grounds of the imprints of ignorance, so that results in the arising.
Oh yeah, Mama Truba Shino said, that and the Tamawada Anikasore, the Silangi said Tamni, and it's a bit dandy in Agaso. 제시 주발라 제시 남을자 시바치마 참조와라 원도 초 대까지 녀와나 아니 파스 주고라 파스도 인잠 자와다 파스도 저 이네 파스 인잠 자 대내 기술이建이 자와나 신체 연구하러 와 대나 신체에 된다 딜라양 다 파스다 주고야 말에 아니 유지라 신기래서 말이 바자께서 사맥이 내대라 내디 바자 쓰였다발라 때네 아니 유지라 신기래도 중그레 세리 중마디 말에
So, taking the example of our own ordinary birth, brought to fruition by craving and grasping, so that the 10th link of existence is actualized. So, and then following the full maturation, then you have the birth, and the second moment of birth onwards, then you have the aging and death, like that. In the same way, then with the force of the virtue then bringing to full maturation that uncontaminated karmic seed, and together with the imprints of the ignorance. Grounds of the imprints of ignorance. So, here usually then you have first the intermediate state, but you don't have that intermediate state there. But so you go directly into actualizing the mental body.
希望基比才你有几让兴趣，驴那么送不的，我把出比渐渐这步，大看的他妈我一呢，那对你去拍的，俺你看的这是呢，看我们现在阶段干了，怕生的话就过了吧，俺你怕谁的见你，怕谁给驴，等着你说那个往头前年，等着糖饼，俺你等着糖饼摊儿，吃我心头，俺你这样，甚至没叫我让说去去跑我的，他怕谁把的。怕是的接，怕是把的，等着你那个往头前来，等着糖饼摊儿，去哇谁干了？等着热呢，俺你看说的，这要把热练过的，怕谁了，是吧？怕是被车在下蹲是吧？我在那些去哇心头，甚至没叫我用手举比吃破我的2年级往给这位渐级，俺你2年往给给我渐的看啥的。俺你2年用个去哇他冲吧，俺你真的这样，俺你看说了，什么没叫吃破我的，来是看啥什么的，
So when when the actual mental body is actualized, then you go through the phase of the destruction, like that destruction. So just like in the case of an ordinary birth, like that. Then first in the case of the higher formless terms, like there isn't that kind of intermediate stage. But in the case of the Desire-Ram rebirth, then form and Desire rebirth, you first experience the Pardo, the intermediate state, and so. If we were to say that you're going to be in that intermediate state for 2 weeks, then after the first week you experience a death, which is regarded as the experience of an inconceivable death. But that because in the case of an ordinary being, because the birth is something, death and birth is brought on by karma and delusions. So, because the birth is brought on by karma and delusions, the death is also that in the ordinary phase, that inconceivable death is also a death brought on by karma and delusions.
Oh yeah, that thing that and the key show the toast change, key ranking share by the 2 change any. That can't somebody there. 간사 선보대기 아니 가서 대부 토발라 키치비수 대부 가르에서는 추구 토발라 키치바. Right?
So so these these are the characteristics of the four obstructions or four hindrances for these three types of persons to actualize the result of the Dharmakaya. The circumstances, the cause, and the arising and destruction.
Nyomomba 탐제지 땐도 주와 말이 바자기 삼마방배 자 말이 바자지 삼마방배 nyomom비 정말 팅아위 바자 탐제지 시주지 뒤와 대단 댐비실 시주지 뒤와 말이 바자기 사단 댐비실 리바다다 세바 장이 파루를 침바랍지 타 침바데 마도보 다데 터바데 아니 산제라만데 매바 인상 바자 방지 장와 지 시가나 바자 방바지 여와 거기 와 인상 간사선보데 말이 바자기 사당 대 마바바 인상 장이 파루 침바 말이 아톱도 시과리.
So what qualifies as having attained the perfection of purity is what qualifies you as having attained that is when you have abandoned the grounds of the imprints of the ignorance, the predispositions of ignorance, the grounds. When that is when that is abandoned, then you have achieved the perfection of purity. So the three types of persons, the Shravaka, Pratika, and those bodhisattvas on those grounds who have yet to get rid of the grounds of the imprints of ignorance and the non-afflicted forms of afflictions. So we say, so they have yet to achieve the perfection of purity.
라 말이 바자기 살라 때네 가사 숨보텔라 체메 줘와 아스나 담바 주었지 봐 치료 강나야 랑기 체니지 주바 셴바 요아 말이지 요아 셴바다 요아 말에데 랑기 체니지 주와 나위 군도 잡아 참모 시도 요아레 시도 니나 참모 요아레 랑기 체니지 주와 나위 군도 잡아 참모 말셰비 아니 가소리 사메기 레터단 담바레스 와 랑기 천이 주하나요 군도 잡아 참몽 말셰비 사메기 레터단 담비실.
So those three types of persons, in dependence upon the grounds of the imprints of ignorance, they do not have the grasping at true existence. They do not have the grasping at existence by way of its own characteristics, but they do have the knowledge obstacle. They have the appearance in their perception that there is the appearance of true existence, appearance of existence by way of its own characteristics. So they have the perception of duality, and so they do have in the seed of the uncontaminated karma.
인상 사명길에대한 댐비치 댐바 인상 아니 본인 모습도 떠봤자도 마세 아니 대나 타다장 로비 다기 파도를 침바 니용보다 시주 강기장 신도 엄번 두마셔와데 다 내이 파도 침바다 마도 세테리 아도레스 아주 여기 두상이 봐라 가서 다다 다음에 들어왔다 녀와시시 담배다 세테 다다 다음에 들어왔다 녀와시시 담배다 세테리
So because of of the appearance of, because of still having that kind of appearance of true existence, because of not having reversed themselves from that kind of appearance, and because they are still pervade shidu yuba yinza
shidu kangjang
mo
the matos
kare matosuma.
And
because of the still having the knowledge obstacles, so they have yet to attain the perfection of bliss. So, because of having the grounds of the imprints of ignorance and uncontaminated karma, so they have yet to actualize the perfection of bliss. Nyomombe can just
Nyomombe debu dungadang ijiranshi lüde gaba shindu deyi paru de chimbade kansa sumbo de nagasmatobare.
So at the face of these these three persons, then they have because they have yet to negate this negate the suffering that arises out of afflictions, and they have yet to negate the mental body. So we say so they have yet to achieve the extremely blissful state of perfection.
Zhang paru chimba, deyu paru chimba. Tatapi paru chimba say dena. Ani tishishi vi kam yang da bi tala sena. Simran xinji chubi dongba dang den dong tala chen. Right? Yang da bi ta. Yang da ta sena dongba ni de gogu ari. Right? Yang da ta say de. Yen da vi tishishi vi kam yang da bi ta tala se de tishishi vi kam yang da bi tala. Da du nyang ba xia bi cuji. Lar mi dang wi cuji nyang ba xia ba de. Da du nyang ba xia ba se ge nyang xia de lar ma dang wi nyang ba xia bi cuji wen du ma xia wa ti si du. Lar mi dang wi cuji nyang ba ma xia wa ti si du. 아니
뉴 당부대
저야
제라면서 게 망다를 쳐제
대신시비 컴 양다비 타라서나 양다 타서나 동반이나 스키와
so then with regards to the perfection of permanence, then when we talk about the limit of the limit of the Tishinchapeta, the limit of Tathagata, the limit of the state of Tathagata, then that should be understood as emptiness, Yantapeta.
어떤데 남자 대라 날 미당이 수지 안영원도 마셔봐 대세도 안에 삼지 미자와 용수 주와단 댐비 치포와다 미자와 삼지 미자위 랭역이 좀 가서 이제랑신지 리께와당 안에 치포와다당 민자와
So for as long as they are in that state of equipoise of emptiness, never arising from it, then there is no birth or inconceivable birth or death of that mental body.
아니 계시권에 전도 주함에 봐 그 답이 바로 침받에 마도가래. 와 계시권에 전도 주함에 봐 답이 바로 침받에 마도가래.
So with respect to 주엄마치마인자
주함에 봐대.
because there's no
전도 주함에 봐 답이 바로 침받에 마도바래.
because there is no change in with respect to birth and death, so they have yet to attain the perfection of permanence.
치포와다 민라비치.
Because they are not free. Because they are not free from the death or free from the birth, so they have yet to attain the perfection of permanence.
Oh, that is the Dindishimada. That's why. To you, do call her.
Yeah.
Rinpoche explained, according to the 12 dependent links, ordinary rebirth and the mental body of the 3 higher grounds in the Pratitya Buddhas and Shravakas. What about the process of the Arya Bodhisattvas from the 1st ground to the 7th ground? Is that a similar process of the mental body that corresponds to the higher grounds?
Tanda tenje yala chunjige pechani tanda kewalen suchi sumra agmanshita khasa sumdi tanda marbi phaja sada samte kewalen suchi sumra nyaranda chomta thasagi chanju samba ta di jodan de chanju samba sa thambune sa dumbe phargi kewalen de chipar vesa
kanisi
ta sa thambu sum 사탕분에 눈밥이 열봐. 군수께
고지 근데 님몽 방비 타바사숨 님몽단 차유 가사되게 끼워내면 줄 샤바를 마도 장주 선발라 장선 파발라 사탕부 토바네 송데 연육이 계시와 말이. 와. 사배 치당 가와당 나외 동아 전에 봐. 내가 님몽 왕게지 텔라테미 치데메스 기나마 코란 요아리.
So here we are talking from talking from the point of view of those bodhisattvas who are free of the afflictions. But generally speaking, we say that bodhisattvas from the very first bhumi onwards take rebirth free of the control of afflictions and karma. From very first bhumi.
타바사숨을 잡고야 돼 가르래 해서나 타바사숨이 안다달라 녀몽그 조치가 자니요 말이.
So
녀몽그 조치가.
So why we are talking specifically with regards to birth along the 3 pure grounds is because when one takes birth in these 3 pure grounds, there is no support from afflictions whatsoever.
장주 선바 아니 마다사들라 내에 장주 선바 대다기 랑주의 님몽 방요 말이 님몽 마방바 인장 님몽 대다기 아니 가서래 겐지 님몽 대다기 녀와 깨바기 아니 가서래 누와데 아니 탑시기 탑시 세.
So in the case of the bodhisattvas along the 7 impure grounds, they have yet to abandon their afflictions, but due to the method, due to the power of the method, they are able to remove the potential for incurring transgressions of those delusions.
가서는 니몽보 대다기 장선 대다기 양고 현진주비 체견도 땡거니 맨당 아기 사비 투나신 맨당 아기 니에서 도대기 녀와 미제바 대신도 장주 마사사준은 내비 장주 선바 대다기 니몽 대다 현진주비 체견도 주어만도 현진 쳐발라 녀와 현진 니몽비 녀와 제바 쳐거 말이야.
So for these bodhisattvas on those first 7 impure grounds, their delusions service benefit sentient beings. Just like a medicine, just like it can just like through mantra and medication. You may take a medicine, might be poison, but it's beneficial. And through empowered by mantra, you give it, you render special potency. In the same way, the afflictions of the bodhisattvas on the 7 impure grounds, their afflictions does not become a supportive condition for incurring transgressions, but rather, their afflictions further fulfill the benefit of sentient beings because of the power of the method. So, in the case of the arhants and the bodhisattvas of the last 3 pure grounds, because they have totally abandoned delusions, because they don't have. So there is no notion of afflictions becoming a factor for fulfillment of the activities benefiting sentient beings. There's no such thing as that, and so therefore this explanation is given in that context of those types of beings, of those 3 types of beings who do not need, who do not have the afflictions further servicing the activities benefiting sentient beings. Which one? So, because the subtle aggregates which have a mental nature and their cause, the level of the predispositions of ignorance have been removed, it is just a perfection of bliss.
Oh yeah, that's it. They do what they like,
Because cyclic existence and nirvana are realized as equal in nature, as explained earlier. So you have the extremes of nirvana and extremes of samsara in relation to conventional truth and in relation to absolute truth.
Oh, dead well. The Shugudi, Jadam Kuchu Koku de la, Jalote, Mahatami, but.
Back of 199, page 199, Tibetan.
거의 타통 동화 고발라 된담라 동이 시다对于他的是他动画的东西对比写了就过奖，可的结果咱们刚才对于他的动画的，人家的马龙就往个的是吧？
So, the extreme of samsara negated by the realization of emptiness, and the extreme of nirvana negated by the compassion.
大家看的来是呢，可以他动画了，全当的对比他动画是呢，全当的对比他写的看的是呢，40年了，全当的对比他写的，可点把出啊当，两代点把出啊是呢，全当的对比他动画的，他
So,
动画的。
what does it mean saying, falling into the extreme of samsara and nirvana from an ultimate point of view is when we hold samsara as being truly existent and nirvana as being truly existent. That is falling into the extreme of nirvana and samsara from an absolute point of view.
但过去的看的来是呢，宽带上心就没把道于落地的。
So what negates this kind of falling into the extreme of samsara and nirvana from an absolute point of view is realizing how samsara and nirvana does not exist by way of its own nature.
kwa demba majuba to de kala tenda la de demba majuba to de kala demba chuwa de ka ba yin zang ani tenda la de ti ani sita ka ya na shi nyang de la ya nyang de demba chuwa jin di zang ba ani tenda la de ji sita song ma nyang de demba majuba to de zang ba ani nyang de tenda la de ji sita kwa ba.
So when one grasps at cyclic existence as being truly existence, then one has fallen into the absolute extreme of samsara. And then when one realizes that samsara does not truly exist, inherently exist, then one negates that following into the extreme of samsara from an ultimate point of view. In the same way, then, same for nirvana. When one holds nirvana as being truly existent, then one falls into the extreme of nirvana from an ultimate point of view, and realizing that nirvana does not inherently or truly exist, then is what negates that falling into the extreme of nirvana from an ultimate point of view. 可以叫我了，他就都团结真吧，是吧？可以叫我了，他就都团结真吧的，安尼工作了对的是大钱。 So
他就都团结人吧的，现在他就都团结人呢，工作了对的是大很花钱。
What is regarded as falling into the extreme of samsara from a conventional point of view is when one has this viewpoint of total kind of abandonment of birth in samsara. Has a view of total abandonment of birth in samsara. That is the extreme of falling into the extreme of samsara from a conventional viewpoint.
现在强求三八那的，按照卡罗说呢。 快要叫我了，他就团结真把的，强求三八人家，人家的马龙给忘记搞给我的，人家人家给，俺那可以叫我，他就团结的，团结起来，可以叫我了，俺比娘的团队年的，团队的娘的卡索的，明白娘的是吧？这团队年我的期待的，人家的马龙就忘记可以叫我，俺的个。 他就都快的叫我的， 인지다 모는 게 왕게 까니.
So bodhisattvas are able to negate this view of total abandonment of birth in samsaric existence due to the power of compassion and prayer. In the case of the bodhisattvas, and aspiring to attain one's own, aspiring to attain one's liberation is for the bodhisattvas a lower form of a nirvana.
이런 거와 코를 깨와 점 가자다비 탈동 이제 탈동하되 이제다 모는 게 왕고 고고위 치료세 유제테리. 이제 장주 선반 이제다 모는지 왕기 코를 깨와 시기와리. 이제 거기 깨와라 다치도 다자마다와.
So for the bodhisattvas, then they do not perceive a birth in samsara as something to be totally and completely abandoned, and so they they do away with that kind of thought of total abandonment of birth in samsara by through the force of compassion and prayer, which is what which is what brings forth their birth in samsara.
아니 인자 온도쟁이 가서 세배 실라 미내신 인시 실라 미내장 시간에 세바기 시다 고제기 돈이 도비 셔럽 다음에 도비 셔럽기 시비 시다 가데 아니 시바 코이 타는 미내봐 인적이 아니 시위타 코이 제바 타치도 타자진 바데 가니 코이 제바 타 방비 아니 양대 천도녀와도 까니 시위타에 까니 인지실은 미네스 뒤바리.
So therefore in the Abhisamaya Alankara, the ornament of clear realizations, there is this statement saying, through knowledge there's no one does not remain in samsara, and through compassion one does not remain in nirvana. So by generating the wisdom, realizing emptiness, then one does not fall into the extreme of samsaric existence, and through and through compassion, then one abandons abandons that extreme of one's own nirvana's peace. One does not see that birth in samsara is something to be totally abandoned.
세바데 안에 돈이도 비셔라기 제바 돈이도 비셔라기 제바 이장 돈이도 비셔라기 스바과 스다과야 semjen 제지 전된 시도 민 세가나 semjen라 아니 동아진 나와라 미세비기 닝제 대기 아니 라니 지보 시완양알에 대해 튼드냐와 그 시다데 과파이 말해.
So eliminating with wisdom all attachment to self as well as its latencies, they do not dwell in cyclic existence. But due to being attached to sentient beings with great compassion, they do not forsake them, whereby the compassionate bodhisattvas do not fall to an extreme of peace, attaining a solitary peace. So with the wisdom realizing emptiness, then no, love. So it's the first two lines of the verse 38 that does not allow one to remain in samsara, falling into the extreme of samsara, and because of feeling unbearably for the sufferings of sentient beings, because of that force of compassion, then one does not care to remain in one's own, in one's own peace of nirvana.
真正去这他落在长久头人呢，怕扩完人们点米大，是吧？他落在乱在长久三把，俺这把年纪全部当长久特别他了点呢，俺就怕工作了对的，俺你实习他了明白吧？全他们了点呢，实习他了明白吧？解决就是把这的，换人们点明白。
So therefore, the wise bodhisattvas with that compassion then do not remain in the extreme of samsara and nirvana in relation to the conventional reality and in relation to the ultimate reality.
Oh yeah, that's what my dad's想。我印象，今天第一节了，他看到我身上18大娘的个，俺那经验上了多少？4大娘的了，你都点经验通完你18块瓦当，希望娘来带完一个18块鱼卷当，希望娘的个朋友通完，我的，他看着里边的是呢，日单点完了，俺那18块鱼卷当，俺那希望娘的了给朋友通完的，日单点完了有话的，日单没点完了18块鱼卷当。So
the next part talks about seeing the shortcomings of samsaric existence and seeing the benefits of attaining nirvana. So being able to see this is possible for those having the lineage. For those who do not have that lineage, then are unable to see the shortcomings of samsara nor the benefits of nirvana. So, if the basic Buddha element did not exist, discouragement with the suffering of cyclic existence would not occur. And the desire for nirvana as well as seeking methods for attaining it and wishing for it would not exist. So that's it. So what is samsara? Samsara is the continuum of the aggregates that are brought on by karma and delusions. That is samsara. That is cyclic existence. So in accordance with Gyawakya Sangya Sutta, he states that the continuum of the aggregates is the aggregates. The continuum of the aggregates is the samsara, is the cyclic existence. Then in Namdel Sume, in Pramanavat, it's stated. Dunga Kowachen. The aggregates Dungel Kowachen Pumbo. The suffering samsaric aggregates is what is samsara. The suffering samsaric aggregates. So you have one defined as being the continuum of the aggregates, other Pranavatika says is the suffering samsaric aggregates. And then what is nirvana's peace? What is nirvana's peace is when you have abandoned afflictions.
오 시바당 양아는 대와 티 시바 코위 시바 코와 동아지 라신 인장 아니 시바 코에捐당 타반데 톰나 대래 된도 대와 인장 대위 연대 통원 니 나를 여바라 이제 스를 여바래데.
So seeing the suffering nature of samsaric existence and how liberation is a kind of eternal happiness. Being able to see such qualities is possible for those who have the lineage, who have the basic Buddha element.
아니 시바 코와당 양대기 아니 시시 견여 통화지 연구래 제수로 견로체
So
리면은 대니 견여 통화지 연구 말에 세가나 아니 돈도 도바된 말 말에.
So if you have the lineage, then you are able to see the shortcomings and the benefits of the respective samsara and nirvana. If one is without this basic Buddha element or this lineage, then one is not able to see the shortcomings of samsaric existence nor the benefits of nirvana.
Deva de Shukana, Tawatagara Resha. Devala Kasore Ryabachis no gonna to Betela Gabicha Tabachatan to be Kasaki, Koa Chidan Cheraki, Nimi Sambu Gona, Koala Dunga, Koa Dungaji, Tonga. Gabicha, Tabachati Geza than Basana Tabachati Geza Siegana Yandi Tabachati, Solan Koguamari. 지당 타바차디 내제차디 스나 아니 통 토남 초람라 타바차디다 아니 요람라 내제차디 시거라 난디 타바차디 세야 되라 타반 주지기 아니 계제기 사병기 차지라 토마 개회 사병기 차지라 사기를 마도 초람라 시거 말 타바차디 그사세데.
So here when we talk about roots of virtue that accords with liberation, this root of virtue which accords with liberation here in this case does not refer to the path of accumulation. What's Nietzsche? You remember Nietzsche? Nietzsche Chadin, you know?
Nietzsche Chadin.
Never Chevadra.
Never Nietzsche Chadin didn't disagree. Nietzsche Chadin, never Jabasana, Tonam Lakiwari, Tonam Jinagala, Ani cutting off never Jabas.
Never
Tonam Ginagala, Nietzsche Chadin Siguari Carre, Tony Muslim the Towa Teddy. Tonam Ginagaso, Dombanina, Muslim Sanatan. Tejida Majava, Muslim Sanatan. Jonam Ginagala, Jonam to the Gala, Muslim Gisana Matana, Tony Lamico, Comjung Sana to God, Comju Jaguari. Tony Lamico, Comju Java Yinza, that Tony Muslim to the Sana Tumbateta, Chatumba Yinza, Nature Chadis, Nature Chadi, Nature Yala. Nature Yana, Nature said Tanale, Nature Tonam la China, T Yana, the Juin Banner, Nature Yana, Nature Chadu, Tonam, Tanachipari.
So the main point about because there is a mentioning in the commentary about in the roots of virtue that which accords with liberation. Here, usually it's associated with those roots of virtue on the path of accumulation. Here, it does not refer to the path of accumulation as such, but it just it is that first root of virtue that it's referring to that the first root of virtue. So there are these different types of roots of virtue in conjunction with the 5 paths. Just as you have in relation to the path of accumulation, you have root of virtue, that which accords with liberation, and roots of virtue, that which accords with ascertainment. Roots of virtue, that which accords with ascertainment is like, for example, on the path of seeing, you have the direct perception of emptiness. There is no generic. On the path of seeing, there is no generic perception of emptiness. On the path of preparation, you do not have that direct perception of emptiness, but you have the clear appearance. You have the clear appearance of emptiness which arises out of one's meditative equipoise. Kind of ascertainment, that which accords with liberation, is like, you have from the sequence of one's ascertainment of emptiness, like that. It kind of refers to.
냥대기 파연 아니 동반이지 다 태와라 때네 류지 파부 당와서 중화 때 따라안줄래 타바체진 계자 여바케 아니 따레
So here, when we are talking about the roots of virtue, that which accords with liberation, not specifically referring to the path of accumulation, but whatever is the first root of virtue that arises in you, such as when you hear the teachings on emptiness, that causes you to have an experience of joy or tears, or a physical sense of expression of your body hair standing up. These types of experiences are what shows that one has the roots of virtue that accord with liberation.
람말 제베 타바체된다 미제데 니라 람고마 묘게치 스타주시와 나시레.
So the roots of virtue that accords with liberation in the context of the 5 paths is not necessary here.
니나 삼반 니메바 소소사비 tomba 나마케와 까베. 다 나마케와 까베. 코미 님이 돈에 이중에 바자줘 봐라 배바 차오 성한다.
Can just
나 삼반 니메바. 코와래 님이당 코이 님이당 아니 시 판용기 삼바기 코와라 내중 내와중 내중기 삼바다 시험하지 매발라 안에 소소타비 또 만나 타바티 개와 까와라 까베 이자 코이 님이 지내 이중 개와라 바자지 조고 그래 순다디 담방이 말이야.
So through realizing the shortcomings of samsaric existence and benefits of the attainment of liberation, then one can establish the basis by which one can seek out the vows of the individual, the commitment to individual liberation.
다 되네. 그것이 다 레바 때나 렌즈 좀 끼비 채양 타바쳐지니까 저 담바 채와 차오. 스타 그것이 가서래 코인님에당 아니 탑에 파인도 저 데데데리 레시 렌바 샤바라 때네 아니 렌즈 좀 채와 이나야 안 타바쳐지니까 저 담바래.
Even if you have heard just one time from the Guru, the explanation of what are the shortcomings of samsara, what are the benefits of liberation, that in itself qualifies as having generated the roots of virtue that accord with liberation. So awakening of your Buddha lineage, the awakening of your basic Buddha element, brought forth by your seeing the shortcomings of, say, for example, the act of killing, and being able to see for yourself the shortcomings of the act of killing, due to the explanations of the teachings that one receives from the Guru and so forth, is what what brings forth that kind of awakening of one's Buddha lineage. If your awakening of your lineage was not made possible in this manner, then you would have to say it all happened without any kind of causes and conditions. If you say that the awakening of your Buddha lineage is possible without these kind of causes and conditions, if you attributed it as happening without causes and conditions, then you would have to say that this would be possible even for those with wrong views. Usually we say that those individuals with wrong views are experiencing a temporary phase of severance of that lineage. There is no total cutting off of that lineage, but due to that wrong view, then are temporarily experiencing a phase of severance of that lineage. But if you say that without any of these sort of causes and conditions awakening your Buddha lineage, if you attribute awakening of your Buddha lineage without these kind of causes and conditions, then you would have to say this kind of awakening of the lineage would be possible for even those with wrong views. So in the case of, when we're talking about those three types of persons who, whose mental continuum is purified of their defilements, and who have the potential of this, the seed of the the seed of the uncontaminated mind, then when such an individual then encounters the conducive conditions, we're talking about 4 types of conducive conditions, like being in a conducive environment of place and people, relying upon the spiritual teacher and so forth. When they encounter those 4 types of conducive conditions, then they have the occasion for the awakening of that lineage.
Oh yeah,
We'll stop here for this morning.
萨西
萨西贝贝是西梅多长，这热灵是你的。三界心多没得不落的， Chopen Namda Shinla Chubarash
Yidang Guru
Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniya Tayami